All right, today we're going to build something really incredible. And no, not with bricks and mortar, but with a whole lot of intention and practice. We're diving deep into the architecture of what it means to have genuine, lasting self-trust.
So let me ask you a question, and I want you to really think about it for a second. When you make a mistake, or you're feeling unsure about something, who is that very first voice to jump in with some heavy judgment?
Yeah, for most of us, that harshest critic lives right between our ears. It's this voice that's kind of been built up from all our past experiences. So today, we're going to learn how to work with that voice instead of just fighting against it all the time.
So how are we going to do that? Well, we're going to build a 5-part toolkit. First, we'll tame that inner critic. Then, we'll learn to focus on effort, not the outcome. After that, it's all about building proof through action, breaking that nasty comparison cycle, and finally, finding strength in support. Together, these are going to help you build a really solid foundation of quiet, resilient self-trust. Okay, first up, taming your inner critic. Let's get right to the source and figure out how we can actually rewrite that internal script that's been running for so long. You know, this voice isn't just some random negativity. It's a pattern your brain learned from past stumbles, maybe some harsh words from others, or just from constantly seeing how you stacked up against everyone else. Over time, it starts to automatically predict the worst because, in a weird way, it's trying to protect you. But what it really ends up doing is just holding you back.
So here's the strategy, and it's actually pretty simple. You don't have to win some big argument with your inner critic. The real goal is just to question it. So when that voice pipes up and says, "You're going to mess this up," don't fire back with, "No, I won't." Instead, you just reframe it with something that's neutral and, more importantly, true. Something like, "I might not be perfect, but I can handle mistakes." See that? That tiny little shift starts to train your brain to be supportive instead of constantly being on the attack.
And that leads us perfectly into our second tool, focusing on effort. This is a huge mindset shift that really takes the pressure off, because it helps us completely redefine what success even means. Check out this new formula: success equals effort plus learning. So often, we tie our self-worth entirely to the final result, right? Did I win? Did I get the job? But this new equation says that real, lasting success is found in the trying and in the learning, no matter what the outcome is. It turns failure from this big, scary thing into just feedback, not a judgment on who you are. And here's exactly how you put that into practice. At the end of each day, instead of judging everything you accomplished, just ask yourself these 2 simple questions. First, what did I try to do today? And second, what did I learn from it, even if it didn't go the way I planned? This simple habit builds a type of self-trust that is so much more durable than that fleeting feeling of confidence.
Okay, so you can't just think your way into self-trust. Your brain is kind of like a scientist. It needs evidence. You know, positive affirmations can fall flat because there's no actual proof to back them up. And that's exactly where our third tool comes in, building proof with action. So how do you actually create this proof? It's all about taking small, totally manageable, maybe slightly uncomfortable actions and then doing them over and over again, consistently. You know, every time you speak up in a meeting, even just once, or you practice that new skill for just 10 minutes, what you're really doing is logging a piece of evidence. And that evidence isn't saying, "Hey, I'm perfect." No way. It's saying, "I can handle a little discomfort. I can face a challenge and come out the other side." That's powerful stuff.
Our fourth tool tackles one of the biggest enemies of self-trust, especially in the world we live in today, the comparison trap. It is an absolute engine for self-doubt.
This quote just says it all, doesn't it? We take our messy, complicated, real-life process, our behind the scenes, and we measure it against someone else's perfectly curated, polished final product, their highlight reel. It's a totally unfair fight that we are guaranteed to lose every single time.
So here's a really practical reset strategy. First, curate your digital world. If someone's content consistently makes you feel less than, just mute them. It's not rude, it's just self-preservation. Then, turn your focus inward. Start tracking your own progress, and remind yourself over and over that just because your journey looks different from someone else's, it does not mean you're on the wrong path.
And that brings us to our final tool. You see, self-doubt loves to work in isolation. It wants you to believe that you're the only one who feels this way. But connection is the antidote.
Voicing your doubt doesn't have to be some big, dramatic confession. It can be as simple as this one sentence right here. Just saying, I've been feeling unsure about myself lately. Out loud to a trusted friend or partner, it breaks that isolating spell of self-doubt and opens the door for a little bit of perspective.
And here's the science behind why it works so well. When you're stuck in your own head, you're basically in a thought loop. An external voice can literally break that loop. Hearing someone you trust say, "I get it," or "you're being way too hard on yourself," provides a sense of safety and perspective that your own brain just can't get to on its own.
We spend so much of our energy trapped by this one question. It's the voice of fear, it's the voice of the inner critic, and it stops so many of us before we even get started.
But what if we replaced it with this one? What if I learn? This question completely changes the game. It reframes every single challenge not as some pass-fail test, but as an opportunity to grow. It's the core question that all of these tools really help you ask. And that, right there, is what we've been building today. Real confidence isn't about being loud or fearless. It's this quiet self-trust that you build over time. That deep-down knowledge that no matter what the outcome is, you can handle it. It's the trust you build, piece by piece, action by action. So my question for you is, what's one small piece you can build today?